Hello Tubesters, it's Gav and welcome to another one of my videos. It's another pop-up one. So I more or less finished these Prussians. I always say more or less, well I say finished these Prussians, sorry, finished these 8. It's just I more or less have got these completed, but there's a couple of things I needed to just check on. Like this officer, I haven't put the silver band round because I wasn't sure if they actually had them. The book that I've been mainly working from, the Jena Auerstadt Histoire Collections book, it's got officers for the cavalry and officers for the guard infantry, and some have silver and the cavalry tend not to around the top. And I'm not 100% sure, so I've done this officer with a silver band and the silver clasp which they did have over the rosette. So we'll just put him to the side for a second. I've put his trousers slightly lighter. They tended to wear blue trousers in the field, so I've read. The officers tended to go by the sash, and which I haven't shown on here I don't think, I'm not sure because I think his chin was more or less in the way, but they'd also have like a silver scarf. I don't put any silver around the lace in here because from what I can, there you go. What I can see is that was their unit the officers' designations. They didn't have any epaulets, things like that. So because this unit does have lacing, a lot of them were plain fronted. Of course I just happened to have to pick the one that didn't. I've given him an other ranks, what I would call another ranks, around the edges, because I couldn't tell. I haven't got, I think it's the 24th I'm doing, and I couldn't tell if the officers did have those type of silver embellishments if they had a plain front, but I couldn't see why they'd have a plain front if the rest of the regiment had the markings. As I say, they have them on the, rather than have the cuff flaps, they have them going horizontal. You'll see the difference when I finally get around to getting some more figures in the new year. I've got another regiment of dragoons to do after this, so there's no point in spending money I haven't got, so not when I need other stuff. But yeah, his boots came up nice. So yeah, I've got to resolve this one in the next couple of days. Well, got a few days yet. I've still got another about 16 figures to paint. So that's that one. As I said before, I think I also bought, whether they were, I can't remember if they're Austrians or whatever, but I bought other Germanic, as we call them that, figures to just to change the look of the unit up slightly. If you remember, this was the giant kebab plume. Like he's got a kebab on his head. I cut some of it off roughly, but wasn't that fussed because it looked a bit fluffed up. So it made it slightly less, but it's still slightly over scale. Again, we've got some bayonets that have been soldered on better than others. I say this was my first unit. I was slightly lighting the Prussian blue up, which, because it's not Prussian blue, it's just blue I've made up myself. From one colour, and then just darkening it and highlighting it with other colours. They have it's a bit confusing on these guys because like all the Prussian regiments, the infantry musketeers, they had the red turnbacks, but the cuffs and the front and the collar are like it's almost like a brick orangey red, with an orangey type pom with the white in, and then a blue. You can hardly see it there, but a blue circle and a white one, a red dot in the middle. Come on, concentrate. Faces are actually pretty decent. I think I finally hit on it's taken me years and years, but I think I'm finally hitting on a faces that I want to do. I say this is one of the ones that's got more, one of the early ones I tried. A lot of it I was using the wrong solder. I was using solder that had come with the soldering iron, and I needed some, I think some lower temperature melting. It melts quicker. As I said, I'm not gonna. I was just looking at these as I just finished painting them, and I thought, well, when I finish a complete unit, I might put some dirt around the bases, around the bottom of the trousers. I'm not 100% sure yet. I often like my figures quite clean. As I said, I won't put any patches or anything on these because I just thought, well, I know the old watercolours show them on the retreat through the winter. You know, they were shown fairly ragtag and falling apart. And I know a lot of Napoleonic uniforms and after disintegrated quite quick on campaign, no matter what country you were in. See, that's a horrible stumpy one there. But again, I'll just have to live with it. I'll get better as each regiment goes. But yeah, I decided not to put patches on these, or I might do it on the odd regiment just as a change. As we've discussed before, I'm going to just change over doing these a bit. But again, first regiment, give it a go and see how it progresses. That's his, as a sergeant, that's his staff of office type thing. Goes back to the old Roman optios from the Roman legions. And that glinting and everything like that will die down under some varnish. And it's the last fella. We've only got the 8 done. But yeah, as I say, my bayonets, they detract from them, you know, like the sergeant's spittoon. But I'm not knocking myself up over it. It'll get better as I do a couple of regiments. I'd never soldered before, so he's had also one of Gav's treatment for doing the plumes. As I said, I think on the last video, the officers, from what I've read, actually didn't wear their plumes in the field. But they were there on the figures, and I thought, well, yeah, it's a nice variation, let's keep it on there. I've obviously cleared out all the metal. As you'll always find metal, trying to find some type of stick, and this is too big really, but between the sword and the leg, it's always chunky. So you have to drill that out. I usually chain drill it 3 or 4 dots next to each other with a drill, and then carve the remainder out with a scalpel. Put my own sword on. It's not particularly great, but I do try and put a curve in it with the grinder and the file. Probably put him on a bay horse, I think. There's not really much to show you really, because all these are just obviously about to be started. But I've got my drummers to do now. I thought I'd do all the drummers in one go. They're not overly fancy compared to some units of the period, so it's not too hard to do. There's only the 2, I believe, poses, and I've only got the 1 drummer that's looking the other way. I did think of moving heads around, and I just thought, no, not for this unit. Let's keep them fairly simple. And another officer and yet another pose. I can't even remember which ones were in the Prussian command pack I bought, and which ones I bought separately and made up. But he's our other officer, and again he'll be in blue trousers as well. Again, some units I might mix them up and just put the odd officer in white trousers, or grey trousers, you know, just to mix it up a bit. But we'll see how the mood takes me really. But I do like, in my bases, I do like a drummer and an officer, and then throwing sergeants in as well. You know, just makes the basing just a bit different. So, thank you very much for stopping by and taking a look. Let's get our little fella back again. This was the one that had the overly bright, if you remember, and I did tone it down slightly. But thanks a lot for stopping by and taking a look. I'll shoot a few photographs. It'll only be fingers as a background, but because I am literally got other stuff all around me. So, but no, it's coming along. And so we've got 16. We've got these command. I've got 1 marching figure, the same as the other guys. He's 1 extra I've got to paint. obviously mounted officer, one sergeant, and the drummers for the and that officer. And then I've got the skirmishers to do, which are the same uniform, but they've got a shortened rifle musket other than the main musket. So thanks for stopping by and taking a look, and we'll catch each other soon on another video.